Are you looking to get on the road to your dream career? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Mentor Select Podcast with your host, Derek Phillips. Always stay up to date on social media at Mentor Select and online at mentorselect.com. Here's your host of the Mentor Select Podcast, Derek Phillips.
Welcome to episode 34 of the Mentor Select Podcast. It is always a pleasure to have you all join us. Thanks for tuning in. If you have not had the opportunity to like, share, and subscribe to Mentor Select Podcast on iTunes or whatever platform you listen on, please do so. We truly appreciate your support to help the Mentor Select community grow and to help give quality mentorship to people that really need it. My wife and I are getting ready to fly to Paris today. Yeah, this is my wife's first time going to Europe, and I've been to Paris once, but only for a day. But the occasion is what my wife likes to call the baby moon. So our last big trip before our daughter is born in June. Should be a good time in Paris. The weather's going to be nice. So we're looking forward to sharing all of the pictures and videos with you. Today we have a phenomenal guest mentor, Kayla Reed. She is an author, just released her first book, The Unlikely Queen. Also, she is a motivational speaker who is very passionate about speaking to youth and encouraging them to really follow their dreams and just live their life to the fullest. Throughout the interview, Kayla candidly shares her story, the ups and downs, and really gives a lot of quality advice and practical guidance that can help you follow whatever you're passionate about and fulfill your dreams in life. So since I have to pack soon, let's go ahead and get to this interview. Don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Today we have Kayla Reed on the Mentor Select Podcast. How are you, Kayla?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're happy you can join us today. We're excited to learn more about you.
Me too. I'm very excited.
Cool. So, Kayla, we like to get to know our guest mentors better. So can you tell us something that most people don't know about you?
Sure. Well, I think what most people don't know about me is that I can speak Korean.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
That's hilarious. Most people don't. You want me to teach you something?
You could try. A challenge. I'm still trying to learn English.
Look,
so
I'm going to give you something real easy.
Okay.
All right. Just repeat after me.
I'm ready.
안녕하세요.
You lost me already. Hey, I know one word. It's like konnichiwa or something. Is that Korean? I heard
Konnichiwa, that's Japanese. But close enough.
Close. Awesome. So you speak Korean. Wow. So how'd that come about?
Well, my very first professional job when I finished my master's was in Korea.
Okay.
And so I started learning the language almost immediately. I just felt it was important. You know, number one, I was living in Korea, so I wanted to embrace their culture, but also for my independence, you know, it was just very important to me to know what the street signs say, to know what the menu said, things like that.
Yeah, that's great. So how long did you live in Korea?
For 4 years.
4 years. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first duty station when I was in the Army was Germany. So I lived there for 2 years, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot of German ones there. I wouldn't say I was speaking it fluently, but I knew a lot of words.
Okay.
Totally can relate to you as far as really embracing the culture, immersing yourself in it, and learning the language.
Exactly.
That shows a lot of respect.
What military branch were you in?
I was in the Army.
Oh, Army. Okay. So was my brother. I have a special place in my heart for soldiers.
All right.
Because of my brother mainly. Yeah.
Army strong.
And he was in Germany too. Yeah.
Cool. Small world. Yeah. Germany was great.
Uh-huh.
So you said once you finished your master's degree, that's when you went to Korea?
Yeah. So almost immediately finished school and then went immediately there and then moved to Dallas, and I've been here for 8 years now.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll kind of backtrack some. So what do you currently do for a profession?
I just released my first book.
All right.
It's called The Unlikely Queen, and it's more so a collection of short stories about my life,
Okay.
just different things that have happened and different things that I've been able to overcome from there and all of the things that led me into the beauty pageant world.
Okay. All right. So that's a lot to uncover there. Let's start with your book. So you're an author. Wow, that's congratulations. So
Thank
what
you.
was the process like writing your first book?
To be honest with you, writing a book is the easy part. It's all the other stuff that comes with it
Right.
that is a bit of a challenge.
What are some of those things?
Wow, figuring out artwork, you need editors, you need photographers. I mean, all these different people that you kind of have to pull in.
Right.
For me personally, I'm an independent author, so I had to dig around in my own little piggy bank,
Gotcha.
figure out how I was going to pay for it. But, things like that. And then if you don't have any references, outside of, for me personally, I just like to write. So if you don't have any reference legs for being an author, you don't know any authors personally, it's a lot of just figuring it out.
Right. The trial and
And
error.
so, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what was the inspiration behind your book?
My inspiration, honestly, was it wasn't financial gain because, as I said, I had to figure out how to finance it myself. So for me, it was more so about just being able to execute my vision. It took me almost a year to complete it, but I'm so happy that I did because I just had this indescribable motivation to finish it. And it was just a very proud and happy moment once I was actually able to finish it because it was exactly my vision and 100% on my terms.
That's great. And I know a lot of people, they have that vision, but they never execute it to actually to write a
Exactly.
book. So yeah, for you to do it, that puts you in rare air in the elite category.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
A great accomplishment, and what's awesome about it is something that's going to live on, part of
Mm-hmm.
your legacy. Awesome. And I'm currently in the process of finishing up my first book, so I can relate to some of the things you mentioned. Is like the writing could be the easy part, the process behind getting it published and marketing the book and everything. Yeah, it certainly is. That's a whole
Exactly.
nother beast.
Exactly. Well, congratulations on your book.
Thank you. I'm excited. Probably by the time everything's done, I'll be close to about that year mark too. Do you have plans to write any other books?
Maybe there's a strong possibility, but I literally just released this first book in January, and so I'm still in the promoting phase of it and still trying to tell people about it. So I need to kind of focus on this first,
Yeah.
and then the other part.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a full-time job in itself. You gotta continue to
Sure.
promote. Yes, indeed. That's great. So,
But it's been great. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better response for my book, and I've just gotten so much support, and so far so good for sure.
okay, cool. So I like the name. So the unlikely queen. Where does that
Yes.
stem from? Saying like maybe some struggle behind. That overcome some stuff.
Well, the unlikely queen, I came up with that title basically because I certainly didn't grow up thinking that one day I would be a beauty queen. I had no reference legs for it outside of what I saw for the Miss America pageant. And so I just didn't fully understand pageant. And so it wasn't even on my radar. So honestly, I was doing different community service work in the community, and I wanted to do more and I wanted a bigger platform. And that's really the whole reason I got involved into pageants, is because I knew that it would give me a larger platform to help more people.
Okay.
And so really that's what it was about for me. So look at myself as an unlikely queen because there's no way you could have told me that this is the path that I was going to go down.
Gotcha.
In life. And so as things have just started to unravel and more doors have begun to open for me, in particular doing different speaking engagements, I just figured that on top of just being able to execute a passion, I could also have something that I could leave behind with my audiences to just let them know a little bit more about my story.
I think that's a really good point there where, like you say, this wasn't a part of your original vision, but you really had the motivation because you wanted a larger platform to help more people. So that's what advice would you give someone who maybe they do have a vision to be in pageants? So I'm sure you speak to people with those visions all the time. What advice do you give them?
As far as pageants, I would definitely say do your research because there are literally like 100,000 different pageant systems just in the U.S.
Wow.
There are just so many different ones, and every one has their own particular objective, what they're trying to accomplish throughout it. And so I would say choose the one that best serves your purpose and who you are as an individual. So, for example, for me, I chose the pageant system that I chose because everyone in it was highly focused on education, and the scholarships awarded were for education, for women to go out and be able to pursue master's degrees, doctoral degrees, that kind of stuff. And literally every contestant in it had at least graduated from college, and we all had to have some form of community service platform. And so for me, I feel like my pageant system was very focused on empowering young women and giving them the training ground really to be leaders in their community.
Which pageant are you referring to?
Called the Miss Black America Co-Ed pageant.
Okay. So how did you do in that pageant?
I did good. I got all the way to the end, so I didn't win. I came in first runner-up for the Miss Black America Co-Ed pageant.
Wow.
The evening gown, I won fitness. I won Miss Photogenic. I did pretty well.
I know some of your other accolades was Miss Black Dallas.
Yes, Miss Black Dallas.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
And it's in the same pageant system.
Okay, I was saying that. Okay. What's really remarkable about that is, like you said, the focus on education. It wasn't just about looks.
Exactly. And I understand where the misunderstanding with pageants comes in, because it does appear on the outside like it's just about how you look. But to be perfectly honest with you, the most beautiful girl does not always win. A lot of times with certain pageant systems, they're looking for a total package.
Right.
Somebody who is educated and is well-spoken, who can also model, and who can also represent that brand. So it's way more deeper than the prettiest person.
Gotcha. Yeah, like you said, a total package, certainly. So you touched on, I guess, some of your passion as far as empowering women. How has being an author, speaker, and participating in pageants helped you further that passion as far as empowering women?
I think that number one is just giving me this incredible platform to share my story. And I feel the way that I'm the most impactful almost immediately is by simply being transparent with other people. And by doing that, it inspires them.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times, people just see the end result. They see that you're a beauty queen, you're an author, and all these different things. But, everybody has a struggle, and everybody has things that they have to overcome. And I just feel like for me, my story is so relatable. Even if it wasn't exactly what you went through something. And so you can identify with me.
I love that. And that's something that I always keep in mind is realizing, like I said, everyone's struggling with something. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Money can't erase that. Everyone has to deal with some form of adversity and hardship. So yeah, being transparent and showing people that, hey, I'm human, I have flaws, I struggle with things too. And yeah, that really does inspire people, and that's something that they can relate to. It resonates with them.
Exactly.
I think what you're doing is really important.
Thank you.
Going back to your book, The Unlikely Queen, when you were writing that book, who did you have in mind as far as the ideal reader or your target demographic for the book?
My target is so wide. It's like,
I can relate.
I think from teenage and beyond, quite frankly, because I feel like teenage girls can get something out of it. I feel like it has that coming of age kind of angle to it. There's also some, I talked about some pretty serious things in the book that I think that could be talking points for mothers and daughters, especially if you have teen girls, just a way to kind of open up the dialogue. So yeah, I would say personally that I was writing to anybody, my younger self as well as women who are currently my age and beyond.
Okay. Great. So you mentioned the platform as far as using a platform, doing speaking engagement, things like that. How's that experience been?
I love speaking.
Okay.
I get like a real high from going out and doing speaking engagements because it just gives me an opportunity, I feel like, to make somebody else's journey easier than mine, by just opening up and sharing my story and how I've been able to overcome certain things. Sometimes, we bump our heads so other people don't have to. So I think that's really what I like the most about it. And also just being able to connect with people.
Yeah.
There's always a sense of hope in their eyes because like everybody loves beauty queens. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Everybody loves beauty queens. We're harmless. We're trying to do something positive in the world. So it's just that sense of hope that people have in their eyes when they get to meet me. And then I share my story and they realize that I'm a lot more like them than they probably had originally thought. So I love it.
Wow. That's incredible. Have you always enjoyed talking to people, public speaking, connecting, or is that something you had to develop?
Always. Yeah. So even from a very young age, like I was that kid who, I could dance really well. And so my mom would always put me on the spot. She'd be like, come here, baby, do that little dance, like show everybody your little dance.
Right.
And I had no problem. Like I was never shy. I would just get out there and bust a move real quick and then go sit down. But she would do that to me all the time.
Bust a move.
Yeah.
That's cool. But that's something I can relate to as a kid. I used to love dancing, entertaining. But what was strange about that is, so I started out like maybe before elementary school, I was really outgoing and loved dancing, entertaining. But once I got into like elementary school, I don't know, I started getting more self-conscious and I ended up becoming shy. So it's just kind of ironic how sometimes like people can like start out being out of their shell, then go back into their shell for a long time. So for the longest I had a problem, I would fear public speaking, or I had to basically get back in touch with my roots to do all of this.
Well, what happened?
Probably just a lot of adversity as far as being bullied, growing up poor, just a lot of family issues. So just a lot of external factors. Yeah, it certainly contributed to me having self-doubt and all those different things.
Okay, got it. So you done made a full corner.
Exactly. Okay.
You didn't full circle that thing.
Exactly. Like I said, I had to get back in touch with my roots, certainly. But no, I love the fact that you started out that way and you've continued down that path. Yeah, being a people's person and empowering people and inspiring them and entertaining them. So yeah, definitely the full package. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can say a lot of different things about me, but shy is definitely not.
Shy won't be one of them. So you did mention in your book you touched on maybe some difficult topics and you had to overcome some adversity in your life. What was some of the things that helped you get over that adversity, those difficult times?
I would definitely say that it's my faith.
Faith, okay.
Yeah, I've had my back against the wall on so many different occasions, but God always puts a person in my path to either bless or encourage me. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So when I was finishing up my book, as we had just touched on, writing it is the easy part. It's all the other stuff that is quite challenging.
Right.
And so the book was finished, but it was rejected twice by Amazon at this point.
Wow.
And so I was visiting with my grandfather, who is turning 90 years old this year. And I was telling him about my book, and you could just see how happy he was. He was smiling, he was proud, and he just spent so much time affirming me after that.
Okay.
He kept telling me, you've always been smart. You're going to sell a lot of books. And that's exactly the type of encouragement that I needed,
right,
especially from somebody like my grandfather, who I just love and respect so much. So it was just kind of like the wind in my sail that I needed to finish it. I just kept telling myself, you can figure this out. And I did, because 2 months later, my book was actually released.
So as far as why was it rejected originally? I didn't know just in case I encountered that issue.
Okay.
Or anyone else listening.
You writing this down?
I'm recording it.
My main thing wasn't content or anything like that. It was more construction issues.
Okay.
Because your book has to match perfectly with the parameters that they put in place.
Okay.
Like how much, if you have to have a certain amount of pages in your book before you can have a spine on it. It has to be a certain amount within the margins, like your cover and stuff like that. That was really throwing me off.
The structural design stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know who to ask for help once if I run into that issue. Pro at it now. So where'd you grow up?
Kansas.
Kansas.
Born and raised in Kansas.
Right.
Yeah, Wichita.
Wichita. Okay. Cool. So from Kansas, where did you go?
So I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, but this is something that I wrote about in my book. Actually, from a very young age, I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I used to tell my mother that I'm moving away. So I just knew that I wasn't going to live there forever. I went to Southern University for college, and I got my master's there. So, and then I did a study abroad in Mexico, and then I moved to Korea, and then Dallas.
Wow. All right. You fulfilled that prophecy. You knew you were leaving. Well, what was the experience living in Mexico?
You want like the real, or let me give you, what you want, like the PC answer?
Yes. Give us the real. We like the real.
Mexico was a fantastic time. I was there to study international business and also to study Spanish.
Okay.
But, I was young at the time, so I also drank a lot of tequila while I was there. But it was a good time.
All right.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate to the tequila. But yeah, I like Mexico. I've been there. I never lived there. I've been there a lot, though. Korea to my list. Would you recommend visiting Korea?
Yeah, I definitely would recommend Korea. It just, for me, I was so young at the time and just really fearless. So I just tried everything. Like I've tried flying lessons and snowboarding, bungee jumping, like all these different crazy adventures that I don't think I would have ever even thought about had I not lived there.
Okay.
Yeah, and really good people.
So speaking of trying adventures and really stepping outside that comfort zone, what was the benefit of doing that?
It made me stronger and more resilient, and it really just built my confidence, because if you do something that you don't know if you're going to be able to do, or something that you've never done before, there's that element of the unknown,
Right.
And so when you come out of it on the other side, different and a better version of yourself, then it's only going to help you to be that much more confident in the next challenge that you try to overcome, or to succeed at.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. It summed it up perfectly. Once you overcome something, that unknown, it definitely boosts your confidence, your resilience, and
exactly.
Just let you know, hey, it's nothing I can't achieve. That's really important.
Right.
Versus just staying within your comfort zone, then you don't know what's possible. You don't know how strong you
exactly.
are. You never find out.
I don't know where I get it from. I'm a black sheep in my family.
Black sheep. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Me and my older sister, complete opposites. Like she's
right.
She will try a lot of stuff. I'm the daredevil in the family.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
Always been. What brought you to Dallas?
I came to Dallas, honestly, because it's the nearest big city to where I'm from.
Okay.
So, as we had talked about, I lived in Louisiana. That was a 12-hour car ride from home. And then moving to Korea, that's a 14-hour plane ride from home.
Wow.
And so as I got older, and I had experienced more things, I just missed my family.
Gotcha.
but I didn't want to live in Wichita,
Okay.
So, and I knew that I would be able to create a pretty good life for myself, just be stable and then be closer to home.
Okay. Yeah. Get the best of both worlds.
Yep,
Awesome.
yep.
How have mentors impacted just your life personally and professionally?
I would not be who I am today if I did not have the mentors that I've had. I've been able to meet a lot of different people throughout my life, but very few of them have had the impact that my mentors have.
Okay.
The love and the guidance and the knowledge has just been invaluable. And really, there is no way for me to pay them back. The only thing I can really think to do is just to continue to dream bigger, continue to succeed,
Right.
and continue to excel, because really, like, a real mentor, someone who's genuinely doing it,
Right.
that's all they really want from you, is to be successful.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. And essentially paying them back is like say you being successful and you paying it forward. You mentoring other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, just keep that cycle going. That's great. I guess more of the inspiration for me behind with this podcast is just offering that virtual mentorship, because I know a lot of times, especially kids growing up in poverty, they may not have access to just quality mentors. That mentorship certainly is vital. Really help keep you on track and just guide you, help you overcome a lot of things that life's going to throw at you along the way. It certainly pays to have a mentor.
Yeah. I'm a very strong advocate for mentors. I mean, and I know that children need mentors, but adults also need mentors, because there's so many of us who are first generation college graduates, first generation working in corporate America. And these are both environments that are very tricky to navigate,
Right.
So you do need somebody to help you figure certain things out, or how to handle certain situations,
Right.
Correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Mentorship is a lifelong relationship. Yeah, you certainly need mentorship throughout each phase of your life, because there's always someone who's already been through what you're going through who can really help you get through that. I can't remember where I heard this quote, but it basically said, like, to know the road ahead, ask those that's coming back. Yeah, wherever direction you're traveling, whatever road you're traveling down, someone's coming back. They already been there. Yeah, as you brought up, a lot of times adults feel like, hey, I should know it all. I have to do it all myself, but you really don't. Ask for help. Be humble yourself, and ask for help. And there's no shortage of people who are willing to help you, especially if they see you trying to help yourself, and you take the initiative.
Yeah, I agree.
So also a lot of times people struggle to find what they're passionate about, struggle to find what they feel their purpose is in life. Is that something that you discovered early on, or?
Well, for me, I describe passion as something that you would do for free.
Okay.
It's something almost like an obsession. So even if you're working on it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, there's still this sense of delight that comes with it.
Right.
Which is why whenever I have an opportunity to speak to children, I always tell them that they should try a lot of different things in order to figure out what their passion is and then pursue it. Because when you become an adult, it's a lot trickier, because the whole focal point of adulthood is responsibility.
Right.
It's paying your bills and surviving. And so if you are a person who is currently paying your bills by doing something you're not passionate about, just even trying to think about that as in a reality is almost like impossible.
Yeah.
So for me, I just feel like to counter that, it's important to always just believe in yourself and work hard. And not that it's going to happen overnight, but just know, like, as long as you are working hard, you really do believe in yourself, the money's going to come.
Right.
Trust me.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And think about it, like, say, if you're doing something where you're not passionate about it, even if you're making a lot of money doing it, you're still going to be miserable. You're going to be unfulfilled.
Yeah.
It's not going to bring you happiness. That's a lesson. It took me a long time to learn it, but it's important. Good advice to give children, certainly.
Thank you.
But what advice would you give to adults who say they're in that position where they feel stuck? They like, okay, I have all these bills.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give them as far as following their passion?
Okay, this is what I would say. Because for me, I look at it like there are two types of people. There are people who are going to follow their passion and those who do not. And so for me, I've been both types of people. I don't think that one is right and the other is wrong. It's more so about choice and choosing the type of life you want to have. Because I know that it's hard to follow your passion. It requires sacrifice and it can be lonely. You're going to be misunderstood. But for me, I've just been able to overcome that particular challenge by reminding myself that this is not for people to understand. I'm a visionary and I have a higher calling on my life. I know exactly who I am and I know where I come from. My grandparents were sharecroppers in Mississippi.
Wow.
And although this is crazy to say, in 2019, I'm only one generation removed from those cotton fields in Mississippi.
Wow.
And, even though my father is a tremendously hard worker and anything he can help me with, he will. But in the exact same breath, I can't go to my dad and be like, hey, Dad, I just need a small loan, just like $1 million, so I can go out and pursue my passion.
It would be nice, huh?
It would be nice, but that's not my reality. I've always had to figure it out, and every time I've been able to figure it out, it just helps me to build confidence and knowing that struggle is a part of it, because if you don't have the struggle, then you're not going to appreciate the achievement when it happens.
Right.
Which is why I think that we have those two emotions, both sadness and joy, because if you never experience sadness, how do you truly appreciate joy when it happens? So that's the same reason why I feel like we should just embrace the struggle and know that it's a part of it. And once you actually achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, it's going to be that much sweeter.
Right. I love that comparison. Yeah, as far as with joy and sadness. I love that. And I think Oprah said it best, that there's strength in struggle, certainly. Where there's no struggle, there's no strength. If someone just give it to you, then you're not developing confidence, you're not developing strength, you're not going to appreciate it. It's not the same. Just highlight the point of embracing the process. And struggle is part of the process. Rejection and lonelies, sacrifice, all that is part of the process. I think the people that...
It sucks. It doesn't feel good.
Right.
But it's necessary for growth, and it's necessary to get to the other side, which, everybody wants to get to the other side. If you have a real goal that you're passionate about, that's the whole purpose of it, is to see it through, to see if I can actually do it.
Right. Exactly. And it kind of goes back to your book. So if you'd have finished your book in a week and everything would have uploaded all together, everything's just been easy breezy. You have the same appreciation that you have for it now.
Exactly.
And then also with embracing the struggle, it gives you more stories to resonate with other people, to help other people to overcome it. So yes, like I say, that's the theme. I think of this whole interview. Embrace the struggle, certainly.
Yeah,
I love that.
You have to.
You're certainly giving us a lot of great advice. I guess before we let you go, do you have any parting advice you would like to give the listeners?
Yeah, and it's pretty simple, really. We are the architects of our own life, and it's built on choice. So really, you just have to choose whatever path is right for you in that moment. And just know that I'm rooting for you. I want everybody to succeed. And, I know we all just met, but I would love your support on my book, The Unlikely Queen. It is available on Amazon.
Great. You bring up another good point. When we're going through these struggles, there are people rooting for us. I may not even have to know us or ever met us, but yeah, it's people that wants to see you succeed. That it's not all negativity. It's definitely people who are rooting for your success. Never give up.
Yeah. Yep.
So how can the listeners get in contact with you?
You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm Kayla Reed.
Okay.
And and again, I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but my book is available on Amazon. It's called The Unlikely Queen.
Unlikely Queen. Okay. Amazon. Awesome. And what I'll do is on the show notes when we release the episode, I'll include it on the show notes, the link to your book, the link to your social media handles.
All right.
Well, thank you, Kayla. Really enjoy getting to know you better and bestowing your wisdom on us. We're certainly rooting for you, your success. I know you're going to do great. And the biggest reason, which is because you're not afraid of the struggle. You're going to take the good with the bad. You're going to embrace it. and maintain your faith and just keep on grinding. So you can't lose with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a winning strategy.
I really
there.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. That was an awesome interview with Kayla Reed, author, speaker, beauty contestant. She has a really impressive resume and has just a genuine heart and desire to help people and make a positive impact on everyone's life that she comes in contact with. So we really appreciate Kayla stopping by and sharing her story with us and giving us some really good tips and guidance for living a purposeful life. Be sure to check out Kayla's book, The Unlikely Queen, on Amazon. I'll include it in the show notes. And as you know, every week I'll be back with another guest mentor. So tune in next week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mentor Select podcast, helping you identify and follow your passions. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit mentorselect.com and Mentor Select on social media. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review. We'll catch you next time.